created a visual survey tool that allows you to create free visual pairwise surveys using Google Street View. It can be time consuming to take pictures, organize them, create your survey, and then analyze the results. I wanted a tool where I could set up a survey very quickly and be able to direct participants to a website to participate in that survey. Most important was having instant analysis that showed me the results. Myself and my development team created StreetSeen. StreetSeen is a pairwise visual survey tool, and I'm going to walk you through how to create a survey. So you start out by going to streetseen.osu.edu, and then you're going to want to log in or sign up for an account. You can sign up with Twitter or Facebook, or you can create your own email account if you'd like. So I'm going to go ahead and log in. So the way this works is it presents a series of two images. Which street would you prefer to walk along? That's the prompt that we've been given in this case. So I'm going to say, looking at these two pictures, that I think one I would prefer to walk down. All right, so I will click one. And then I have the same question and another set of images. This time I'm going to select two. And so you just keep getting these random pairs that go along, and we're able to click through and vote on the various pictures. What you'll note at the bottom is that you can see that we're at number 15 out of 15. And I can also choose, can't decide, let's skip this one if I can't figure out which one I would prefer. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and select two. And then I'm taken to a section where I can have additional survey questions. So if I want to find out more information about the participants that are participating in the survey, I can go ahead and do that. So I rode my bicycle to work. I do walk for pleasure 3 to 5 times a week. I used a bicycle to travel most during the last week, and a car was the second most frequent. I'm a female, and I can put in my age. So I created these individual survey questions, but you could put in any questions you might want. The idea is just a few simple questions so you have some more demographic information about the people who are participating. So I completed that survey, and what I see is that another person's survey is now up and running. So we're going to go ahead and create your own study. So what we do is we just go to the My Studies tab, and then you're going to choose to create a new study. Okay, so in this case, we can come up with a question for the voter. So I could reword this in any way I want. Which place would you rather live? Okay, we're going to create a simple name, and in this case, I'm going to say Columbus Neighborhoods, and you add in a description. All right, we'll scroll down and we can choose to create a survey. So in that case, that's the ability to ask some questions at the end. So we want to go ahead and do that. And so we want to know how many votes do we want people to take. So that is how many image pairs do we want to show people. And I'm going to say in this case 10 image pairs. Are we willing to share our research? So if you say yes, then you're going to be able to let other people see the results of your survey, or you can make it private by simply saying no. In this case, we'll go ahead and say yes. We're going to click the button to create a survey. Okay, you can provide instructions to respondents on, and that will be helpful to them. Okay, so what you see is I've just typed in some survey instructions. You could make that much more detailed, but I'm just keeping it simple for now. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and create a handful of questions. So in this case, I'm going to say, what is your gender? I can add an answer. Okay, we can add another question. I've asked, how far do you commute to work? We can say less than 10 minutes, 10 to 19 minutes. Okay, so I've created another question. All right, so I can continue adding questions as I like. They must be multiple choice questions. That is a factor in this survey tool. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and move on and select the region in which we want to locate the survey. So in this case, we want Columbus neighborhoods. Okay, so I'm going to choose neighborhoods in the Columbus metropolitan area, and we can say how many images do we want from this area. So I'm going to say give me 50 images that are at least 25 meters apart. You can choose whatever distance you might like. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go over to the map, and then you're going to click, and that will create a pin, and I can click, and it will create a polygon for me. All right, so I'm going to get 50 images that are within this area. I could also zoom in. I can adjust the pins as desired. And then once I'm ready, I can go ahead and say save and add another. And as you can see, it's pulling up these images. Okay, now I could choose to go ahead and add another area. So if I wanted to be more specific about an area, so I'm going to pick Clintonville. And then what I can do is I can, if I want to target a specific area, then I can go in and create another polygon. I can adjust that as I desire. Okay, and in this case, I want to get 10 images 50 meters apart. And so in this case, what I'm trying to do is target a specific neighborhood so I can get pictures from that particular location. The nice thing about a tool like this and subdividing your areas is then you've got labels that are associated with that. And so when you do your analysis later, then you'll be able to see how people preferred images in one particular area of your community versus another. Okay, so what we've done is we have now pulled up 10 images that are in this neighborhood. Now I want to go in and edit these images. I can decide, is this a good picture to include in my study or a bad picture? In this case, I want to know whether or not these are homes that people want to live in. So if I pick this picture, what I can see is you can't really see homes because this is an intersection. You can see homes there, but I wouldn't be a good judge. I'm not close enough. So I can go ahead and delete that image. Okay, so in this case, I do see two homes. I can rotate it around, and I can decide, does this picture work for me or not? And so I think if I rotate the image, the main thing is that we want to get it a face on. So in this case, I would say that image looks pretty good. So we can go ahead and save that change. I'm going to take this image just to use another example. Okay, so we can rotate it and select where we want to stop. Okay, so I will go ahead and save that one. You can see that I'm trying to get all these face on. I'm trying to make sure there's good visual quality in the images. All right, so now what I can do is I can go to my other area that I had selected, so Columbus neighborhoods. And I can go ahead and pick an example that I want to edit. Okay, so I see I've got a manufactured home park here, so I can go ahead and save that change. I'm ready to go. So you can just go through and continue to edit. You can rotate the images around 360. You can delete them. They're really easy to work with. And so we can just say that our survey, it's doing great. We're ready to go. So we want to go ahead and save that. Okay, so once we're done editing our survey, that we're happy with the images, then we can go ahead and press the launch button. And after you launch it, then you can't change the questions, you can't add new areas, you can't edit the images, so you've got what you've got. So let's go ahead and launch our study. Okay, now if we want to vote, all we have to do is go over to the vote. So what's going to happen is we've limited it to 10 votes. So people are going to get 10 different image sets that they're shown, and they're going to select which place would you rather live. Now remember, we didn't finally edit every single image in this case, but I'll just walk you through what it would be like. Okay, so I can pick, would I rather live in area 1 or 2? I think I'm going to say 2. 1 or 2? I'm going to pick 1. So we can just continue to go through our survey until we get to the end of the images. And then we're automatically going to be taken to this survey. Okay, so I'm going to say I'm female and my commute is 10 to 19 minutes. I can go ahead and submit the survey and the results are now recorded. So now what I can do is I can go back to my studies and I'm going to select my Columbus neighborhoods. And now what I'm going to be able to do is analyze the results. And what it's going to show me is which images were preferred. So I can see that this image was favored one time. Of course, there's only one vote because I've only voted one time. And we can scroll down and we see which ones were not selected. All right, so either they were not presented or they got a no vote. So what we can see here is if I scroll down, in this case, it was presented once and it was not favored in that particular vote up. I'll take you to another study. We'll go to this bicycling preferences study because I'll be referring to that in just a moment. And what we can see in the analyze is that we have far more votes. So for example, in this case, this particular image was presented 659 times and 518 of those times it was favored. So 79% of the time it was favored. So you've got this instant analysis that just gives you a win-loss ratio, which is really straightforward. And then I can always go to the areas section to see where the images are that are presented in the study. And so I can see I have in town Columbus, Victorian Village, High Street, and Columbus, Ohio. And I see that Victorian Village and Columbus were favored more often than the in town Columbus or High Street. You also have the ability to go ahead and download your data. It is exportable in a CSV or an Excel format. You can go ahead and download the location summary or the full results, and then you can work with and manipulate all of that information once you're ready to go. All right, so that's the basics of how to use StreetSeen. It's an easy to use tool that I think you'll find helpful. Now what I'm going to do is go ahead and take you through how to analyze and how to construct one of these surveys using StreetSeen.